I had a conversation with a director last year who was involved in a project of mine, and she has a type of synesthesia where she'll experience colors when she hears music. And she said to me that I write music the way emotions feel,
Mm,
and that is like both the greatest compliment I've ever received, but it's also like exactly the way I think about my art. So in terms of storytelling, I feel like I'm sensitive to my surroundings and I can pick up on people's emotions fairly easily. And that's something that I chase in music. So I'm always trying to like capture emotions that are hard to articulate and then like understand the flavors of them through the music. Storytelling for me is a way for us to like understand ourselves and each other, and then maybe like ask questions in a container where we feel curious and open. And like what I love as well, and like just kind of like when we talk about the collaborative process, it's a way to connect with people and get to know them better, because I might take something from a story and then somebody else receives it in like a completely different way. And that's fascinating to me as well. So I like the sort of sharing aspect of it. And yeah. So I don't know, I didn't really answer your question, but I think
no, I
it's
love it. Well, I
it's
think
yeah.
as composers, we all think about narrative in different ways, and there's, you know, I think the reason that contemporary music, and I will say my observations are this is changing rapidly right now, but over the course of the 20th century, composers were writing very abstract and obtuse music, which I love, by the way. But sometimes it's hard to pick up on like a narrative structure almost. So like I think about storytelling in music as a structural formal element.
Mm.
But it sounds like the way you think about it's a little bit different than that.
Well, obviously, like when there's words, there is a structure, but like
Right.
if it's wordless, it might be like trying to do some like inner child healing work or whatever, where I'm like, when I was a kid, this is how I felt. And this made me feel this way. And like the emotions layered on top of each other are kind of like bittersweet, anxiety, something else. And I want to create a way where there is some feeling of resolution, but like I'm kind of like feeling all of those things and like layering them in a way that I feel a little bit healed afterwards. Like it might not be something that anybody else picks up on, but that's the sort of story that I'm telling.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, we are writing music for ourselves. It serves a purpose for us as artists as well, like you're describing.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, funnily enough, I like never think about an audience, and I'm kind of like the.
Yeah.
Do you know there's like that David Bowie quote where he's like never play to the gallery,
Yep.
and I'm like, oh, I absolutely 100% agree. I'm just like the minute I try and impress somebody else, the music suffers so much. So it's kind of like I think that everybody is completely unique and they have their own like rich inner world. So if you have the urge to create something, trust that and trust that there's a reason for that and like just go with that rather than like wondering if the person in row Q enjoys your arpeggio. I don't know.
Yeah, I've always felt that, whatever I do, whether that's composing or curating a concert or making a podcast like this, I feel like as long as I'm being true to myself, being genuine, people will get it. People
Oh
will
yeah.
receive that, and so you're right. I also don't think too terribly much about an audience.
You can think about the audience afterwards for sure,
Yeah, right,
like
right,
where
right.
you're like, I hope people listen, but
Yeah,
when you're in the middle of it, I'm not like, what would someone think of an F major chord here?
yeah, right, right. When did you know that you wanted to make a career out of music and being a composer?
I think it was probably always there at whatever point we're like, you have to get a job. What do you want to be? A teacher, a doctor, whatever. I think I always wanted to have something to do with music. So I think probably when I was a kid, I was like, I'll be a music teacher, and this is how I will get to spend time with music. And then, in my teens, I was like, I'm going to be a famous rock star. And then I think when I started to meet some other people that were writing music, I was like, this is what I want to do. I don't have the imagination to think of anything else. Like, it feels like the thing that I can do. But I will say, there was a very long time where there were like a lot of limiting beliefs of artists are poor, starving creatures. Artists can never have happy relationships. Artists are tortured. And, there was a lot of like kind of trying to undo those things to be able to have a career.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in to Micromaker by Loose Leaf Transmissions. We hope you enjoyed this brief glimpse into the inner workings of the creative life. If this resonated with you, be sure to check out the full conversation on Music Maker with Tyler Kline, a podcast exploring craft and process, philosophy and inspiration, and the honest, often messy parts of being an artist, creative uncertainty, purpose and identity, and resilience. You can find Music Maker wherever you get your podcasts or by visiting musicmakerpodcast.com.